This is a story about my first day in a new apartment. Actually, it's not even my first day because I moved in yesterday. And today the walls are bleeding. So weird how many people think that when you become an adult, life will just hand you everything on a platter. Woo, Lee, why did you move into a building that looks like it's about to collapse? Why don't you move somewhere nicer? Because when I got the call that this place was available, I jumped at it. I'm slowly rebuilding my life and figuring out who I am outside of my marriage. It hasn't been easy. But every time I feel overwhelmed, I remind myself that this too shall pass. My back was aching and I could barely get out of bed. And then I noticed that there was a line of blood coming from under the bedroom door. And Lee, you probably think that this is dramatic. I know where it went wrong. I know why I feel the way that I do. It's because I let other people hurt me. I allowed their negativity and their toxic behavior to chip away at my resolve. But I'm done with that. I'm done with allowing other people's problems to become my problems. I'm done with being selfless to a fault. Bring on the leaky walls, the drafty windows, and the creaky floorboards. I'm here to fix it all. I'm here to make this place a home. And yeah, along the way, I might find myself in the process. I'm taking a stand, and I'm starting with this wall. I'm not letting this bleed all over my apartment. Why don't you just cover it up with a rug or something? First of all, this is the only rug that I own. I need it in the living room so that my son doesn't trip while he's playing. Second, I do want to cover it up because I want whoever comes to fix it to be able to identify the source of the problem and make sure that they patch it properly. I don't want to end up with a bigger problem. Plus, looking at this wall just makes me sad. It's like a metaphor for how I feel on the inside. Bruised, defeated, wondering where it all went wrong. I followed the trail and I found this. Yep, the wall is bleeding. I don't know how it happened. I didn't do anything to deserve it. I've always been nice to walls. And while I was waiting for her, I started making phone calls around 2 different contractors to see if they could give me an estimate. And afterward, I posted this whole thing on social media, and I was honestly surprised by the response. A lot of people reached out to share their experiences and give me advice, and some people even offered to help me out. One of my friends sent me a care package with cleaning supplies and some wine, and another friend sent me a gift card to a local restaurant. So that I could get some takeout. I'm grateful for everyone who's shown me kindness and support. It means more to me than you'll ever know. Over the phone, one guy told me that it could be anywhere from $300 to $800 to fix this. And I thought, you know what? Fuck that guy. I'm not even going to bother getting a second opinion. I'm just going, nah, go with Hannah. She charges half of what that guy charges, and she is a better damn contractor than him anyway. I was hoping that maybe it was just a small patch and that if I ignored it, it would eventually stop bleeding. But unfortunately, it just kept getting worse. By lunchtime, the whole room looked like a crime scene. This feeling of uncertainty, these stressful decisions, this struggle to find balance, it's all temporary. Someday I'll look back on this season of my life and remember how strong I had to be. Remember how capable I am, how resourceful I've had to be to get to where I am today. It's in a decent area, relatively affordable, and close to work. I've been carrying around boxes of books, clothes, kitchen supplies for weeks now. Every weekend I've been hauling stuff over to the new place. I'm still waiting on some furniture to arrive, but I did bring over my bed frame and the mattress. That was definitely a 2-person job. Shout out to my friend Hannah for helping me move that sucker up 5 flights of stairs. I could afford a nicer place, but then I wouldn't be able to afford food. Or if I were to get sick, then I'd have to make a choice between getting treatment or paying my rent. He said, don't worry, it's just a small leak. It's no big deal. He gave me a number to call, and then he left. So then I called the number, and this woman picks up, and I explained the situation to her, and she goes, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry, but we're not going to be able to come out right away. We're really backed up right now." I'm thinking, well, what does that mean? Like, are you telling me that you're going to send someone out next week? How am I supposed to deal with this wall for a week? But she didn't offer any solutions, and she didn't seem apologetic. She actually sounded annoyed, like it was a bother for her to have to talk to me. So I ended up hanging up the phone and calling another company. And at this point in my life, those are things I'm unwilling to gamble with. They have this idea of adulthood where you graduate from school, get a job with great pay, get a house with a white picket fence, live happily ever after. You see, I spent most of my early adult life moving around quite a bit. I lived with my parents until I was 23, then I got married. My ex and I lived together for 3 years, and then we separated. After that, I lived with a roommate for a year, and then my ex and I got back together, and we lived together for another 2 years before we finally separated for good. During that time, I also went through grad school, had 2 jobs, became a mom, got divorced, and bought a car. All of those experiences were good and valuable, but they made me feel like a human pinball. I needed somewhere that felt like home, somewhere that I could stay long-term and put down roots. This place is not perfect, but it's mine, and it's a place that I can build something good for myself and for my son. And I hate to break it to you, but life doesn't work like that. The path to adulthood is paved with late rent payments, bad credit scores, and furniture that looks like it was designed by a committee. For example, welcome to my new home. What do you think? I know what you're thinking. In the past few years, I've been on a quest to create stability for myself. Moving here has also been a big step forward in my healing journey. But yeah, today the walls are bleeding. So last night I finished moving in. And this morning I woke up and I was sore everywhere. So I called the super and he came to take a look. Fortunately, the earliest that they could send someone out was tomorrow afternoon. So basically I'm stuck dealing with this mess for another 24 hours. And then I realized that that's not actually true. So I called my friend Hannah again and I asked her if she could come over and help me clean up the mess. So Hannah came over and we cleaned up the mess. And we talked about how excited we both are that I finally have a place to call my own. I don't know what the future holds for me in this apartment, but I'm ready for it.